So look at reality, look at the charts and see how much. Again, I'm just talking about housing going back to 2012. That's 62% crash in housing, which would be twice as bad as the 2008 crisis, and that was bad on most people. Stocks, just going back to 2009, that's 89% on the S&P 500 and 94% on the Nasdaq. That's a total wipeout. That's 1929 to 32. You've got to at least acknowledge that this is a possibility. I've had a strange path for most economists. And number one, I didn't get my PhD in economics because I started to major in economics and found it was too boring and vague and conceptual. So I took everything else in business, accounting and finance in undergrad. Then I went to Harvard Business School and studied more marketing and business strategy, which was my true love. But I can tell you one thing, bubbles never, ever end well. There's no way to go from extreme bubble and have a soft landing. Now, that's what seems to be happening right now, and we'll see. But I tell people, give 2025. I think the truth will be told next year whether they can let down this bubble without causing a crash, because I can tell you, never happened in history. And I can't even compare past bubbles to this bubble, given how global and pervasive it is. I mean, obviously he's seen as pro-business, and yes, tax cuts, everybody likes tax cuts, but we already have the biggest runaway 16-year streak of deficits. We have not seen a balanced budget since 2001 or something like that. It's just crazy. And that never ends well either. So I think what's going to kind of happen is Trump's coming in, one of his platforms also, hey, cutting government spending, excess government spending. And Elon Musk says he's going to put me in charge of this, and you better look out if I do. And I think that's the big risk here, that Trump may be seeming to what seems to be a good thing to get the economy. But yes, we have been running nonstop deficits. We have brought inflation down, but it's hard to get down more. And so, okay, we'll cut government spending. But if he cuts government spending, I say that's going to start a slowdown that will build on itself. I know the best remedy for the economy. It's called a recession or even a depression at times. This will wash out. A lot of bad debts will fail. That's what happens in recession. It's healthy to borrow and for companies to invest equity capital as well in growth in a boom. But the recessions come along, or occasionally a depression after a bubble boom, and this is a bubble boom, so that's when you see depressions in history. It cleans out the bad debts and keeps the good ones and consolidates the bad companies into good companies. It's very healthy for the economy. But the problem is now we can't go into a healthy boom with the highest debt ratios across all four sectors and globally in history. So I think the next few years is likely to be ugly. The question mark is, when does the darn thing start? I mean, because the governments are fighting this hand and tooth. And I know that the Federal Reserve knows better than me. I mean, why did they not let the economy take a break during COVID? Because they know they've been stimulating it for 15 years, which means they know how weak it is. I think the central banks know this better than anybody. They just can't say it because they don't want to scare anybody.